I believe it is one of the most compelling and historically one of the most loved by the audience formats ever. It's hard for me to think that it would be gone. Now, if you look at reality shows, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, same format.
Very much so.
Yes, and I must admit, I watch some of those shows, but there are some that are just beyond bearing. They're so terrible. And I would like to think that the audience is going to get hungry for something with a little more substance, a little more art, a little more soul. And so I would like to believe that the format will not disappear.
There is nothing that I can say about has more soul than the soap operas, from the passion that the actors that you guys have that we see, certainly to what the fans have. So This is an opportunity to give the fans what they like and to bring on my next guest, who is an Emmy-winning actress whose on-screen wedding was a small, intimate affair watched by 30 million people. That's right. 30 years ago, the wedding of General Hospital's Luke and Laura was the place to be. It also made Genie Francis one of the most recognizable faces in television history. She's currently appearing on CBS's The Young and the Restless as Genevieve, and she has a guest starring role with Denise in Pretty, the series. It's a hilarious web series that we're going to talk about during this next hour, but most importantly, I think her most important roles are those of wife and mom. So I'm humbled to say that she's taken some time out from all of that to be with us here today. Genie Francis, welcome to Soap Central Live. Hi, Genie. You're on Soap Central Live.
Or not.
This is like one of those great soap opera cliffhangers where you're waiting for someone to walk into the room and they don't. So what we'll do until we figure out what's going on, we're going to transition a little bit and talk about more about Pretty the series.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of talk about soap operas possibly moving online, that could be the place that maybe saves the format. We've had some bad news with Prospect Park not being able to do that with All My Children and One Life to Live. So I'm going to ask you, Denise, what do you know about the Internet and the way that content is being delivered on the Internet?
Oh, Lord, so little. When Stephen first told me he was going to, Stephen Silverman, first told me he had created Pretty, and he told me about it, I really just listened to him, and I thought, oh, Lord. And I said to him, Stephen, I'm not your audience, which means I don't live on the Internet, I don't Facebook, I don't Twitter, I don't do any of that. I use it for business, I use Word, but I'm not a person who is deeply involved with the Internet. I know he's talented, and I thought anything he did that he felt passionately about could very well find an audience, but I didn't have a clue. I have watched him over the last 3 years, and of course last year I got a little bit involved, and then this year a little bit more. I kind of had to hold my breath until I turned blue, but I won, and I'm there just a little bit more. I stand in awe watching what they do. I know that some people are getting sponsors. Some people are finding money coming to them corporately. But Stevens has either self-financed the show or money has come in from the fans who want to keep it on the air. I mean, that's just astonishing to me. The outreach is amazing. What it has brought into my life of people, there's a whole group of people, both in the United States and particularly in Germany, who adore General Hospital, but are about 15 years behind getting it regularly, who are deeply involved on the Internet, and they've come into my life as it's a time warp thing for me. I have to time travel with them because they know me from 1981. And I sort of have to figure out how to do that, and if I'm going to meet them, are they going to be terribly disappointed because I don't look like that anymore? So it's an amazing new world. It's sort of like Alice in Wonderland going through the looking glass, falling down the hole, and waking up and trying as hard as she can to figure it all out. That's kind of me. So you've asked the wrong person. I think it is the future. I wouldn't be surprised to find everything and anything alive on the Internet. I can't imagine it going away. I know that it is a force for good in the world. I also know it can be a force for evil. I think we are all, the human race, we are going to have to figure that out and try to keep the good and not have the bad do a lot of damage. I think the human race is in such an evolutionary period now as things go to warp speed and how they develop. So I don't know that you're asking the right person, because I'm sort of standing there saying, oh my Lord, look at that. Wow. Oh golly. Excuse me, what did he just say? So that's me, kind of. That's not helpful at all, except I do believe in its future. I believe in its power, and I'm quite sure, just as we went from theater to film to television, to radio to television, that the next stage for the world of entertainment is out there on the web.
Well, I'm out here on the web every day, and as you can see, we have some issues every now and again. We're going to try one more time and see what we can do here, and hopefully Genie is with us. Genie, welcome to Soap Central Live.
Hi, can you hear me this time?
I can. Thank you so much for taking some time out to be with us today.
It's no problem, my pleasure.
Well, we've got the reunion here. We've got Genie, we've got Denise, we've got Lesley, we've got Laura. It's a whole family reunion here. I have to ask, a lot of fans are wondering, do you remember the first time that you had an opportunity to work together?
Well, I absolutely do remember. I was very nervous. It was my, I was not trained or prepared or anything. I knew that Denise Alexander was the star of the show, and I definitely wanted her to like me. And so I'll let Denise finish the story.
Well, Genie and I, by the way, hi, baby girl. Hello, good afternoon. We tell it differently, I have to tell you, but it's basically the same story. So I'll tell my version, and then I want Genie to tell hers, because I think it's very funny. But there had been another girl playing the part of Laura. She was much younger. And while I think of myself as a tall, slim, and elegant person, that's not so much. And at that time, I didn't have blonde hair, and I think I thought of myself as a blonde also. And I think I'd seen a lot of people around, and I was really worried about height, obviously, because the first thing I said to her, we met in the hallway, backstage, and somebody introduced us and said, this is Genie Francis, who will be playing your daughter. And I hope I said hello. I dearly hope I said welcome. What I remember saying was, oh, good, you're shorter than I am. Now, Genie has to tell her version of the story because it's got a richer flavor.
Oh, dear. All right. Well, it's pretty much the same thing. I was introduced, and she said to me, oh, good, you're shorter than me. And I knew it was a joke, and I kind of laughed. But the fact is, I knew I wasn't, because...
That's the thing. She was scrunching, and to this day, I have to tell her to scrunch, because now she'll put on her highest heels and tower over me like a head and a half. And I have to say to her, have we discussed this in the past?
These are the things that we love to hear.